that every day, every dark day, every last sight is a time that'll last for life, yo. And I don't mind if you stop by when you got time, and I'll take you on a ride through a rainbow sky. It's me, it's you, and it's every bit of true. So take it all in as we make it all new. Fighting to the finish, the last won't breeze. On our knees in the tall grass and green trees. If you need me, you can find me in the longest beam. One afternoon to sum up every dream.
Now that's the spirit. Go get 'em, Tiger.
I don't have to know where I'm going now. Following the road, reverently bound. All I need is you. Where I'm going now. All I need is you. Reverently bound.
Next round.
We can't.
Hello? Hello. Is this thing on? Hi there. I'm Trey Marshall, and for those who don't know, I'm a mix and mastering engineer. And every week, I'm going to share a tip or technique I use while I'm mixing. If you've ever worked in a digital audio workstation, or DAW, you've probably come across these things called plugins. I don't know how many times I've seen on forums or Facebook groups questions about plugins. That seems to be the hot topic. What plugins are you using on your vocal chain? What do you have inserted on your mix bus? Which company makes the best amp simulations, and so on. Now, if someone were to ask me what is the best plugin, I honestly wouldn't have an answer for them. There's so many plugins out there that I haven't even heard of. But most importantly, it really doesn't matter, because plugins don't mix songs. Engineers do. I'm not trying to sound condescending, but share my thought process on how I approach plugin selection. Now, if you were to ask me what's my preference, and that's a different story, because every engineer has their own preference. But to say which one's the best, I mean, it really doesn't matter. There is no best. It's how you use it. I think of plugins like this. There's a piano sitting in the middle of the room. A person walks up, plays the piano. It sounds decent, but sounds kind of clanky. But then someone else comes up right behind that person and plays, and it sounds phenomenal. Well, what changed? The piano didn't change, but the person who played it did. And that's all based on their knowledge and experience of the instrument. And it's the same thing with plugins. A plugin is only going to be as good as your knowledge of how the plugin works and how to apply it in different situations on the mix. So it doesn't matter what's on my vocal chain, because one, the song that I'm mixing is different from yours. Two, my taste and preference are more than likely different than yours. So that's my bit on plugins. But I'm not going to waste your whole time talking about plugins. Let's talk about the mix that I have in front of you. So as a mixing engineer, it's important to know when not to mess with the track. I only have one plugin inserted across all the tracks, and that is a trim plugin, which I use to balance. And then I use a form of top-down mixing for this particular song, because once I loaded the tracks, everything sounded great. Whoever the producer was obviously had a clear vision. Everything fell into place. It sounded great with balancing faders, panning, and so forth. But for the most part, I didn't have to do very much with this session, and that's okay. I mean, if you ever heard the saying, less is more, that's definitely true about mixing. So I know this week was kind of short, but I wanted to make sure I took the time to bring that up. I know it's not earth-shattering, but I hope you can find it helpful. I'll see you next week.
In green trees.